the recruitment of DeAndre. You pulled a lot of strings, and then the Clippers pulled some crazy shit.
Yeah, that was the biggest heartbreak I ever went through. I mean, at the time we had a great team in Dallas, and we're recruiting free agency. Like I'm in the draft room, I'm in the free agent meetings. Like Mark kind of gave me and Dirk like reins. Like, all right, like this is who we want. Like go get him. So I'm coming out to LA. He was also with Dan Fagan, so we had the same agent. So we're partying together, we're working out together. I'm basically his schedule is my schedule. I'm all over him, right? I'm like I'm getting this guy. And I get him. Like he commits to us. Like he's verbally there. Cubans, we're here. We're going to dinner. We're at his house with his mom, his brothers. And I never forget the girl I was dating at the time. She had a birthday party in Vegas. And I left. And I tweeted an airplane emoji because I was going to Vegas. That's when the whole reports, the Woj bomb saying DeAndre Jordan having cold feet. And I'm like, there's no way, bro. I just left. Like, no chance. And that's when that whole Twitter emoji war started. Remember that, where everyone started tweeting like emojis. Chris Paul was tweeting like a banana boat or something. Blake tweeted the picture of the door like that. They like locked him in the crib. And we had just signed Wes Matthews to come with DeAndre Jordan. So it was like a whole thing, right? But again, like, there's no hard feelings there. Like, he did what he thought was best for his career. I think that year he was Defensive Player of the Year. And for the Clippers, he went to, like, the Western Conference Finals. Like, he's had a great career, but that was just, like, that's never happened before. Like, we had it. It was done.
He committed, and then the Clippers flew who? Doc, Paul Pierce, CP,
and Blake.
Yeah. To his house, locked him in.
Until he signed.
And beat him down until he signed.
Yeah. It was nuts.
Didn't he end up going to Dallas anyway?
He did end up going to Dallas. I left and then he went.
Right.
It was crazy.
So heading into free agency, you were looking to possibly stay in Dallas, I'm guessing?
Yeah.
That's what you wanted to do, obviously?
Yeah.
And it didn't really work out that way. You end up going to Memphis on another nice deal. What was that experience like?
So I signed a 3-year deal in Dallas, but I had a player option in the 3rd year. And talking with Mark, talking with my agent, they said, listen, I played good that year. We went to the playoffs. They said, you can get a big deal. So I'm like, all right, great. I'll opt out of my player option. And Dan Fagan was like, basically, you're going to get a max contract. And, when Dan says
He's
that,
the best at it.
I'm fine. I believe you. But Cuban wanted me to opt into that 3rd year because I had just had a knee surgery. I had my 2nd one, and I was still going into free agency. And so I didn't pick up my 3rd year, because Mark was like, look, just opt in and prove yourself that you can play, and then I'll sign you to a 5-year max the next year. And I'm looking at him like, he's telling me to opt in now for 17, but Dan Fagan, my agent, telling me I got guaranteed like 95. Like, I'm like, Mark, if I was your son, like, what would you tell him? Like, would you tell me to do this and take this guaranteed deal?
Right.
And they knew I had the knee surgeries, right? That's another crazy story where I had 2 pitch meetings. And I remember it was Orlando and New York offered max deals, but like 2 or 3 years. But the 2 big 4 ones were Memphis Grizzlies and the Portland Trailblazers. Paul Allen came, Dame came, Terry Stotts came, their front office came, and we had a great meeting in Portland. And to be honest with you, I was all in on Portland. I was like, we can cancel the Memphis, like I'm going to Portland. So I was like, all right, like I'm in. JB Bickerstaff and Fizz, who were my family, he had just got the head coaching job at Memphis. I said, you know what, let's just take the meeting. Like, I love them. Like, let's see. And also, they had Gasol, they had Conley, they had Zebo, TA. Like, they had a squad, too. So I'll never forget, we're in this meeting, right? And it's at Dan Fagan's house. And we're in the Memphis meeting. And I see, like, where Stack's sitting, Fagan's getting, like, red and, like, kind of getting weird. And then, like, 5 minutes later, he's like, hey, let's take a break. And, like, we'll meet back up in 5. He's like, CP, come here. So I go to his room with him. And he's like, you're going to Memphis. Portland is going to give you a physical, and because of like Greg Oden and Brandon Roy's injury history, you might not pass. So I'm like, what do you mean, bro? He's like, trust me, like you don't want to go down that. Like if you do that and they red flag you, bro, you're taking a minimum deal and you're smoked out at $95 million. Like in my head, I'm on Zillow looking at houses in Portland. Like I was going, like I love them. I go back in there, bro, and Oscar performance going back. Oscar. I go back in there. Listen, guys, I've never been more sure of something in my life.
Sold it.
Grit and grind to the day I die. I'm like, I'm in.
I'm gonna get that shit tatted.
I was like, we can just stop it here. I'm signing. Literally, I'm like Blake Griffin. I wouldn't let them leave till I signed the deal.
Yeah.
I was like, I am going. So that was just another Dan Fagan crazy story where I was like, man, I've never told that story
That's
either.
incredible.
And after getting that contract, you get to Memphis and you get derailed by injuries again.
Yeah. Which
Talk about that.
I had just, during that free agency, I had just had my 3rd knee surgery, right? So it's not like they didn't know I was, and as an athlete, like, you know, I'm hopeful to be the player I was. And like, when you get paid in the NBA, you're getting paid off what you did and what you could possibly do. So it's like, they saw like a 16-5-5 guy and they were hoping I'd get that or better. Maybe I'd take a huge jump like some guys do. Fresh off 3 knee surgeries, like after that, 4-year guaranteed deal. Like, I mean, you know, the Memphis experience, it didn't really work out. There's a little bad blood there, but like, you know, there's some nice people there. I had a good time, but it just didn't work out. I couldn't find ways to get healthy. And a lot of the people there kind of put that on. In the same day, they gave Conley like $230.
Yeah.
So like that day, they spent like $250 million. I'm like, I remember me and Mike were like, boo the GM. Like, why are you booing us? We just signed the deal.
You would do the same
Like,
shit.
stop it. Like, what do you mean? Like, it was crazy.
Boo the GM.
Yeah, like, boo him.